Election day in Wisconsin coming to a close. Our live team coverage and the results from a very busy day right now on News 3.
This is News 3 at 10.
Thanks for joining us. It is primary election day in Wisconsin, a day dedicated to setting the stage for the midterm election in November.
The polls closed 2 hours ago. The results have been coming in, and there are a handful of statewide races, primaries for governor, for U.S. Senate, state treasurer, secretary of state, and lieutenant governor.
Arguably the biggest race in the ballot, the Democratic primary for governor. There are the numbers. Called at about 9 o'clock for state school superintendent Tony Evers. He will square off with Governor Walker in November, a convincing win. Firefighters Union President Malin Mitchell's second. He's at 19%. Calderoy's third. Those were the only three candidates reaching double digits. State Senator Kathleen Vinehout, political activist Mike McCabe, attorney Matt Flynn were next. Also, the back of the pack, after you look at those three, all at 7 or 6%. The back of the pack, Madison Mayor Paul Soglin, just 5% of the vote. Andy Gronick and Dana Wachs left the race in recent months. Their names were still on the ballot. Josh Pade, less than 1% of the vote. Let's go to Tony Evers, who is giving his victory speech right now at the Best Western Premier Park Hotel on the Capitol Square. Let's listen in.
And I also know that there's a handful of DPI staff in here. I couldn't be in this position. I'm standing here today without the critical work that you've done all the years for the kids of Wisconsin. Thank you. Now, most importantly, I couldn't do this without my family. I couldn't have done it without them. To my wife, Kathy. You're my rock. I love you. Could not have done it without you. And anybody that knows Kathy, especially her fellow pickleball partners, knows she's my loudest and most loyal supporter. No matter where my job took me over the years, from Baraboo to Oakfield, to Oshkosh, Verona, we faced every challenge together as a team. You made me better in every way, and I thank you. Now, to our 3 kids and 7 grandkids, and I think most of them are in the room here.
Way back there.
Hey, hey. Your unwavering love and willingness to have your faces blasted all over social media, whether you liked it or not, is greatly appreciated, and I thank you so much. I love you all. So here we go, folks. I'm Tony Evers, and I'm going to be the next governor of the state of Wisconsin. I'm a former teacher, principal, and now state superintendent of Wisconsin's public schools. I've seen on the faces of our kids what the devastation of Scott Walker's cuts to public education has done. I've seen parents and families struggling with rising health care costs and stagnant wages. I've driven, as you have, on crumbling roads. And I've watched as Scott Walker has made decision after decision that benefits himself and his wealthy donors, and not what benefits us, the people of Wisconsin.
That's right.
Folks, Walker has been here 8 years, and the problems are not going away. As governor, I will change that, and I will get results. As most of you know, I'm a proud Plymouth progressive. For those of you who don't know, Plymouth is a cheese capital of the world. And the reason I know that, we have a big sign downtown that says cheese capital of the world. And if you still weren't convinced, we have one of those big plastic cows downtown, too. My first job was in a cheese factory, and that's what, frankly, I got my love for cheddar cheese. The Plymouth has been in the national news lately. 15% of our nation's cheese comes through Plymouth. And Donald Trump's tariffs are having a devastating impact on my hometown and the people and the businesses and the industry that call Plymouth home. It's been heartbreaking to watch. Instead of doing the right thing for Wisconsin, Scott Walker has decided to bury his head in the sand. He left Plymouth behind, and he's turned his back on Wisconsin for his own political gain. That is a major difference between Scott Walker and me. Scott Walker does what's best for Scott Walker. I will do best for the people of the state of Wisconsin.
All right, so it'll be Tony Evers against Governor Walker in November. Now we take a look at the U.S. Senate Republican primary. Leah Vukmir declared the winner roughly a half hour ago. The Brookfield State Senator besting former Marine Kevin Nicholson. Let's go to Pewaukee, where Senator Vukmir is addressing her supporters.
I could not have gotten through this point of the campaign without my faith. And I have many thank yous beyond that. First, to my children, who are right here beside me. My daughter, Elena, who got me started in this odyssey. You all know the story. You've heard it. When she was just a 5-year-old in kindergarten classroom, that's what got this all started. And my son, Nick, First Lieutenant, United States Army. I am so proud of the caring and driven young adults they have turned into. And I am so excited for the future for them, and that's why I'm fighting the way that I am. I started when you were young, and I continue today, not only for you, but for your children, and your grandchildren. We have so much work to do, my friends. You're winning! Thank you to Jess, John, and Barney. Thank you for your mastery of the art and science of campaigns, your strategy, and your confidence that you instilled along with it kept me going. I know you're out in this room somewhere. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To my amazing team, my Wisconsin team on the ground. I have never seen a group of dedicated and passionate young conservatives who were put in a position of handling the day-to-day operations of this campaign, and they did it every day without campaigning and with so much energy that they made me energized every day of the way. To my dear friends, you know who you are, and my extended family members, you lifted me up every single day, and I thank you. To my legislative colleagues, I know I see some of you scattered around this room. If I start naming names, I'm going to miss somebody, so I thank you so much. Your steadfast support, your endorsements really helped me along the way. I know it. Many people came up to me and said, I am going to be voting for you because my representative is voting for you, and I thank you all for standing beside me, and they deserve a round of applause. A special thank you to our Waukesha County Executive, Paul Farrell. There he is. My former car mate to the Capitol. You have been something else, and I thank you and your mom, Lieutenant Governor Margaret Farrell, for being such great mentors. First Lady Tonette Walker, thank you for your early support. It meant so much to me, and I am grateful for all of your help. Congressman Sensenbrenner, is he here? Thank you, Congressman. The Dean of our delegation. Congressman Sensenbrenner, the dean of our delegation. He has been amazing. He has brought us all together. All of our congressional representatives, and all of us. He is our cheerleader. He's always been with us. Congratulations, Congressman, as well. And Senator Johnson, thank you for your words of wisdom throughout this entire campaign and the role that you will play as we unify our party starting now. Thank you for your leadership.
That is State Senator Leah Vukmir addressing her supporters tonight in Milwaukee. So in November, it will be two women on the ballot, Leah Vukmir and against U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin in the general election. There was also a Republican primary for governor challenger Robert Meyer against Governor Scott Walker. This one called early tonight, Governor Walker running away with it. And he spoke earlier tonight about the upcoming midterm.
All over the state, I hear people say, we want to keep moving forward. We want to vote for someone with a positive agenda that's going to move us forward. We don't want to go backwards. We don't want to go back to the days when our kids, when our graduates had to go to some other state to pursue their career. That's not where we want to head in this state. We want to keep moving forward. And so I'm going to need your help between now and November 6th.
So come November, it will be Democrat Tony Evers and Governor Scott Walker on the midterm ballot. Governor Walker was first elected in 2010. He will be seeking his third term.
Now back to the Democratic governor's race. Mahlon Mitchell coming in second tonight.
Our Amanda Quintana is live now in Milwaukee. She's covering the Mitchell campaign tonight. Amanda?
Yes, well, when that race was called, Mahlon Mitchell was about 20,000 votes behind Tony Evers. There was still a lot of hope here, but just a few minutes ago, he said he conceded, and he spoke to his supporters and his family, and he thanked them, and he told them that they helped to change the dialogue in the state, and they really let people know how important it is for them to vote.
We did not have the result that we wanted tonight. I have reached out to Superintendent Evers and congratulated him. But I tell you, if Tony Evers wasn't in the race, we would have won. That's right.
Joking, of course, but he told his supporters we need to get behind Tony Evers. He said any power and any influence that he has is going to go behind Tony Evers, and he really wants to help him win. He said because they have one common enemy, and that is the division that Governor Scott Walker has created in this state. We're going to go now to Amy Reed, who is with the Royce campaign.
Yeah, Royce's supporters are still sticking around here as Kelda makes her way from group to group, thanking each one individually for their support, and they tell her how happy they are to have seen her run, to be able to support her. Now Kelda is switching gears, and she really wants people to support Tony Evers. That's what she touched on in her concession speech. She wants them to unite against their common opponent, Scott Walker.
Well, I am really honored by their support, and obviously I think we need that kind of national support if we're going to win up against the Koch brothers and the billionaires that are backing Scott Walker. And that's why I'm going to do everything I can to make sure everyone who supported me supports Tony Evers just as enthusiastically.
Now, Royce said she's, of course, willing to support Tony Evers. She's going to be back on the campaign trail. First, she's going to take a little break. She's going to go swimming with the girls tomorrow.
All right, Amy Reed, Amanda Quintana, all covering the governor's race, the Democratic primary, thanks to both of you. Another statewide race for lieutenant governor. The winner would be paired with the winner of the Democratic nominee for governor, Tony Evers. It's 31-year-old former state representative Mandela Barnes of Milwaukee cruising to the win over Sheboygan businessman Kurt Kober. Republican incumbent Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Clayfish unopposed in her primary. Our political reporter Rose Schmidt, by the way, has been following the races today in southeastern Wisconsin, particularly the race for U.S. Senate. Okay, we do not have Rose. We'll hope to get to Rose shortly. Again, she's been covering the Vukmir campaign. We just heard from Senator Vukmir just a moment ago. We'll hope to get more reaction shortly.
Whoever wins the race, as we mentioned, will take on Senator Tammy Baldwin in the midterm election in November. She spoke. Senator Baldwin spoke about that upcoming race earlier today, saying there will be a stark difference for Wisconsin voters.
There have been literally millions of dollars poured into their respective campaigns from out-of-state mega donors, literally billionaires who have weighed in to try to basically buy themselves a senator. And I am going to continue my fight to be the champion of Wisconsin issues and Wisconsinites.
Senator Baldwin is seeking re-election for a second term. She was first elected to the U.S. Senate in 2013. A packed race today in Wisconsin's 1st congressional district.
Now, this was a big race as well. That district, of course, held by the Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, for the past 20 years. In April, he announced he would not seek re-election. 2 Democrats trying to fill that spot. Randy Bryce defeating Kathy Myers handily tonight, 61 to 39%. That's with 84% of precincts reporting.
And when it comes to Republicans, there were 6 candidates in the running. UW System Regent Brian Stile, a former Paul Ryan aide, advances to face Bryce in November. This is not only a big race for the state, but also one that is getting national attention with the Speaker Ryan connection.
And our Rock County reporter Adam Duxter live in our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with more on this race. Adam?
Well, Randy Bryce and Brian Stile are already gearing up for this November's election, and we heard from both of them within the last hour, the first time since each of them have won their respective primaries. Now, a little bit about each one. Bryce is a Janesville native. He's a U.S. Army veteran and union iron worker. On his campaign website, he says he joined the 1st congressional race because he knows firsthand how, quote, working people have struggled, and he wants to ensure the middle class is represented again in D.C. As for Brian Stile, he was a longtime frontrunner of the Republican primary, and he's the former aide to Paul Ryan and a University of Wisconsin System Regent. Tonight, both candidates spoke for the first time since receiving the nomination.
It's a win for working families all across this district, this state, and the entire country. Working people have been shut out of politics. Working families have been forgotten by their representatives. But we took a stand. We fought back. Together, we made our voice heard.
I want to take these Wisconsin-style solutions to Washington. But before I can do that, we have a big race ahead of us. And it's not going to be easy. I'm going to need your help again in the weeks ahead. But tonight, I want to thank you for your trust and confidence in me.
What do you do now? Both candidates receiving major nominations, receiving major recommendations. For Bryce, it was Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, and for Stile, it was Paul Ryan himself giving the recommendation. And you can find out more about these candidates over the next few days by visiting channel3000.com.
Adam Duxter in Rock County tonight, our bureau at the Janesville Gazette. Adam, thank you. A local race here in Madison, the 77th Assembly District covering part of downtown and Madison's west side.
Earlier this year, longtime Representative Therese Berceau announced she will not be seeking re-election. Sheila Stubbs, the county board supervisor, beating out the rest of the field here. Stubbs had the endorsement from Representative Berceau, Mark Garthwaite, and Shabnam Lotfi, who was a Madison immigration attorney, and John Imes, the Shorewood Hills Village board member, rounded out this one.
I feel very passionate. I feel effective, and most of you know I am bold when necessary. And so we will make some changes in the state of Wisconsin. Whether you're ready or not, here we come.
They had a big party over at the Sheraton on John Nolan Drive tonight. There are no Republicans running for this seat, so the winner of the Democratic primary will take over.
All right, the race for state treasurer, Republican incumbent Matt Adamczyk is not seeking re-election. Businesswoman Sarah Godlewski, this has not been called officially, 68% of precincts reporting, but it looks like Godlewski will defeat former state treasurer Don Sass and former communications director for the treasurer's office, Cynthia Comp. It appears it'll be Godlewski against Republican Travis Hartwig in the fall. Hartwig easily beating Jill Millies in the Republican primary.
For the Secretary of State in the Democratic primary, another statewide race, candidates for both parties today. For Democrats, longtime incumbent, 40-year incumbent Doug LaFollette won handily over Madison Alderman Arvina Martin. And in the running for State Secretary of State on the Republican side, businessman Jay Schrader is the winner with 71% of precincts reporting he beat U.S. Army veteran Spencer Zimmerman.
And now, when it comes to voting issues today, the Dane County clerk, at least, Scott McDonald, says there was nothing reported today that would have slowed down any voting times. The Dane County website was down for about an hour, but is now back up and running. He says as far as the voting goes, everything ran smoothly. For all of the results from the primary, state, and local races, head on over to our website, channel3000.com. We'll keep those numbers coming at the bottom of the screen as well, and we will be right back.
Welcome.
Let's go to Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti joining us with a look at the forecast.
A little humid out there, but not much in the way of rain chances. They just seem to be almost evaporating right before our eyes. In fact, as we take a look at Doppler track, you can see really nothing across the state of Wisconsin. There were some showers and thunderstorms earlier this evening up to the north, a couple still remaining south of the Twin Cities, then some showers and a few thunderstorms in Iowa, but those haven't made it here, so we're kind of in between right now. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Skies are mostly cloudy right now as we check out the almanac for today. High temperature 86, low temperature at 61, but right now we're at 76 degrees. The dew point temperature has climbed up to 69 degrees, so it is pretty humid, 79% relative humidity, and there'll be some patchy areas of fog out there. On weather track across the Midwest, you can see this area of moisture just kind of sitting and spinning to our south and west. There were some showers and thunderstorms along a cold front up to the north. Those, though, have really diminished because the winds are very light. There's really nothing to push the air upward and make thunderstorms. So until this whole weather system pulls on through, there'll be chances for showers and thunderstorms, but not much, as far as rainfall at any given time. Just a few showers and storms around. Temperatures right now mainly in the 70s, a little cooler behind the cold front, 50s across northern Minnesota. Dew point temperatures, though, are still pretty high. Even as far north as the Twin Cities, they're in the upper 60s. Here in Madison, we're close to 70 degrees, so expect humid weather to continue for at least another day. 66 for the overnight low temperature, mild, some fog, maybe an isolated shower or thunderstorm by early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's high at 81. It'll be warm and humid humid, and a chance of showers and thunderstorms are probably the best chances in the afternoon. As you see on Future Track, there's just not a lot of moisture out there. Maybe a shower or thunderstorm popping up late tonight. A little better chance tomorrow as temperatures climb into the lower 80s. Then tomorrow night, they just kind of diminish. Probably see some patchy areas of fog. And then on Thursday, pretty much the same story. We pop up a few showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. High temperatures top out in the lower 80s. Rainfall amounts generally in the quarter to half-inch range. There could be a spot or two where amounts exceed an inch in a heavier shower or thunderstorm. But the 7 to 10-day forecast keeps temperatures in the low 80s through the weekend. The air dries out a little bit, and then as it becomes more humid toward the end of the weekend, we'll see some thunderstorm chances from Sunday night into Monday. Temperatures will drop into the mid-70s for the early part of next week and climb back into the lower 80s with drier weather from Wednesday through Friday of next week.
All right, Gary, thank you very much.
Gary.
We'll be right back. All right, let's go back out to the governor's race now. Chief political reporter Jessica Arp at the Evers camp with a look ahead at the next 3 months in the governor's race. Jess?
Well, yeah, I found there's actually a thing that you can find online, a clock that tells you exactly how many hours and minutes and seconds until the November election. What really matters is it's about 83 days, and it's going to be a long, tough 83 days on both sides of this race. We learned while Tony Evers was speaking tonight that the Republican Party of Wisconsin has launched a $500,000 statewide ad buy that is all an attack ad against Tony Evers. This is going to be a slog. You can expect that there are going to be a lot of attacks thrown around. We heard Tony Evers, when he was speaking here tonight, talk about how he thought that the governor had gotten too close to President Trump and he was failing Wisconsin on the tariff issue, how he was tired, quote, as he said, of Scott Walker's education, as the Governor Walker's been calling himself the education governor. That's obviously something that Governor Walker is going to push back quite strongly on, saying that they invested more money in education. They've been running ads previously to this about how they believe he supports education. This, though, is not only going to be fought on the airwaves, it's going to be fought on the ground. We talked to to the state Democratic Party Executive Director Martha Lanning a little bit earlier tonight about how the candidates are going to come together about this. 8 candidates in a race is a lot of them, but tonight we see Paul Soglin, Madison mayor, is here tonight. He's supporting Tony Evers, Kelda Roys, Malin Mitchell. They all came out and endorsed Evers tonight. She says that they're all coming together around him, and they've also tried to build out a statewide grassroots effort to fight what they believe is a Republican party machine that clearly has been very successful in the last 2 elections. So tonight is just the beginning of what will be a very long and tough road ahead for both Governor Scott Walker and State Superintendent Tony Evers as they work toward the November election and the governorship.
Yeah, this race, you look at the 1st District Congress race, Jess, and of course the race between Bookmere and Baldwin, all will get national attention.
Yeah, that's right. We expect to see outside spending. We've already heard that third-party groups are going to be getting involved in this race. Some of the National Association, the National Governors Association. We're not even talking at this point, because there wasn't competitive primaries, about the Attorney General's race. That's going to be another competitive race in Wisconsin. So we have a lot to look ahead to in November.
83 days.
Yeah, the countdown begins, as Jess said. Jess Garp live in downtown Madison with Evers' campaign. Jessica, thank you very much. We do want to get to Gary, because I know he wants to pass along the Brewers-Cubs score today. The Brewers beat the Cubs 7. I'm kidding, Gary. Anyway, he does have a final check of the forecast.
I'd rather handle the election results. Let's put it that way. There's our 7 to 10 day forecast. Temperatures low 80s the next few days. Chance for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. Slight chance Thursday and Friday. Again, much of the time it'll be dry, so don't think that any of those days are washouts. Probably the best chance of rain will be on Monday, and then temperatures back in the low 80s by the end of next week.
Gary, thank you very much, and thank you for joining us. The election results continue at the bottom of the screen and at channel3000.com.